Hi there. These comments are for MM. How are you doing today? And you're doing a independent speaking practice test, and I am Michael from OTC Online TOEFL Course.com. So in the email, let's take a look at the speaking prompt here. I'm looking at it right now. So some people think that with the development of technology and the internet, libraries will disappear, while others think libraries are always necessary. So which opinion do you agree with? So do we need libraries or not? And that's kind of what you're focusing on in. All right, let's get started. Let's see how you did on this. So I have your speaking file right here on my desktop computer. I'm getting ready to listen to it. Right below I have the actual rubrics for the independent speaking. And recently, you seem to be either at 4 or slightly below 4. That's where you are right now. So let's see if you can continue with that very high level of speaking proficiency.
The libraries are always necessary because they offer classes and also many children's books are still on paper basis. My first reason is that the library offers variety of classes to many age group people. For example, my neighborhood library offers many classes including ELL or classes for older people. Therefore, many people in the community believe that libraries are an important part of their life. My second reason is that many children's books are still on paper basis. To illustrate, because many children's books are based on paper, not e-books, the parents still has to go to a library to borrow books for their children.
Which increases the need for these books later on, even with the invention of the internet, right? So I'm going to give you thumbs up. I think this is a good response. I think that you're between 3 and 4. I'm going to say you're at least 26 points out of 30 on this. Let's listen to the beginning one more time.
Libraries are always necessary because they offer classes and also many children's books are still on paper basis.
Okay, so many children's. Don't forget that S, that grammatical word ending in there. Let me listen to it again.
Classes and also many children's books are
Yeah, you forgot that possessive ending. Many children's books
still on paper basis.
are still on paper and are not stored digitally, maybe you could say, or are not uploaded to the internet.
My first reason is that the library offers variety of classes to many age group people. For example, my neighborhood library.
When you talk about requiring classes at the library, which necessitates a physical library. So maybe as you explain that idea, connect it back to why libraries will not be replaced by the internet.
Offers many classes including ELL or classes for older people. Therefore, many people in the community believe that libraries are an important part of their life.
Okay. Now let me check your language. Libraries are an important part of their lives.
Classes for older people. Therefore, many people in the community believe that libraries are an important part of their.
Yeah, are important. So you just didn't put a lot of stress on are. You know what? That's what gives you good sentence rhythm. So the be verb doesn't need to be stressed a lot, especially when it's positive, and that's exactly what you did. So very good pronunciation with that.
Their life. My second reason is that many children books
I would maybe my second reason of why the libraries will not be obsolete.
are still on paper basis. To illustrate, because many children books are based on paper, not e-books, the parents still has to go to a library to borrow
The parents still, let me check your subject verb agreement here.
books for their children. That libraries are an important part of their life.
Okay.
My second reason is that many children books are still on paper basis. To illustrate, because
That's a little awkward, still on paper basis. I would just say are still printed, right? Or there are still print copies of most children's books.
many children children books based on paper, not e-books, the parent still has to go to the library to borrow
You might want to say, so the parents still.
books for their children, not e-books. To illustrate, because many children books are based on paper, not e-books, the parent still has to go to
No, there's no need for the word so. That's my mistake. You put because in the beginning to create that dependent clause to show the causal relationship. So that's good. Very clear connection of ideas.
the library to borrow books for their children.
Okay, so I think this is a good response, right? So I think that my score is pretty accurate. I think you might have a few minor language use issues in there, maybe a few word choice things you can probably are still paper basis. I would say are still printed, or there's still printed copies of children's books. So some of the word choice wasn't perfect. I'm going to put you at about maybe the same thing I did last time. I'm going to put you around 28 points out of 30. I think it's a very strong response. You had good delivery, very clear pacing. I like how you divide your ideas into thought groups. You're varying your tone, maybe not as much as you could, but you definitely are varying your tone, and I think for the most part, good control of language use and also topic development. All right, thank you for doing this practice test.